Commander Teo stood in the observation room of Earth's main space station, watching the vast darkness of space. His hands were pressed against the cold glass window. Outside, stars twinkled like small lights in an endless black ocean. He had spent 20 years looking at this view, and it never got old. The universe was full of mysteries, dangers, and strange wonders. Today felt different, though. A message had arrived 3 hours ago, from the Vexian Empire. The message came from Emperor Cortex himself, the most powerful ruler in the galaxy. For 30 years, humans and Vexians had not spoken to each other. They were not friends, but they were not fighting either. It was a cold silence between two worlds that did not trust one another. But now, the Emperor wanted peace. Teo read the message again on his small tablet. The words seemed too good to be true. The Emperor proposed a marriage alliance. His daughter, Princess Hera, would come to Earth. She would marry a human leader. This would join the two civilizations together. It would bring an end to the fear and distance between them. The message also mentioned a gift. The Emperor was sending his daughter with honor, with respect, with kindness. Teo smiled when he read those words. It seemed that the Vexian Empire was finally ready to be peaceful. "Sir, the landing ship is approaching," a young officer said. Her voice came through the speaker on the wall. "They will arrive in 5 minutes. They will arrive in 5 minutes." Teo nodded. He left the observation room and walked down a long metal hallway. Other officers were rushing around, preparing the welcome ceremony. Red and gold decorations hung on the walls. Music was being prepared. Everything had to be perfect for this historic meeting. He entered the landing bay just as the massive Vexian ship touched down. The ship was silver and black, sleek and powerful. Steam came out from underneath it. The doors began to open slowly with a loud hissing sound. Teo straightened his military uniform. He wanted to look strong and respectful. The Council of Earth had chosen him to meet the princess. He was a good leader, they said. He was smart and kind. He would know how to treat a Vexian princess with dignity. The first figures to emerge from the ship were guards. Vexian guards were tall, thin, and muscular. They had blue skin that seemed to shine in the light. Their eyes were large and black, like the night sky. They wore armor that looked like it was made from liquid metal. 4 of them formed a line on each side of the ship's door. Then, a woman appeared. Teo blinked. He looked again. The other officers around him did the same. Nobody spoke. Nobody moved. The woman walking down from the ship was not what anyone expected. She was Vexian. Yes. She had the blue skin and large dark eyes. But she was different. Very different. She was large. Much larger than the typical Vexian. Her body was round and soft, completely different from the thin, athletic figures that Vexians were famous for. She wore a purple and gold dress that flowed around her body. Her black hair was long and tied behind her head. As she walked, she moved with careful, quiet steps, as if she was aware of how people were staring at her. One of the officers near Teo made a small sound. It was almost like a laugh that he was trying to hide. Teo shot him a sharp look. The officer immediately looked away. The woman continued walking toward them. Her face was calm and peaceful. But Teo could see something in her eyes. She was watching the humans. She could see their shock. She could see their confusion. And she seemed to understand exactly what they were thinking. Her name was Princess Hera. She was the daughter of Emperor Cortex. And Teo suddenly understood something that made his heart feel heavy. This was a prank. A horrible, mean prank. The Emperor had sent his daughter as an insult to the human race. He was laughing at them. The girl walking toward him was not a beautiful princess who would bring honor to any union. She was living proof that the Emperor did not respect humans enough to send them his best. He had sent his daughter, the one he probably wanted to get rid of anyway. Hera reached Teo and stopped. She stood before him, waiting. Her dark eyes looked into his. She said nothing. But Teo saw something in that moment. He saw that she knew. She knew exactly why she was here. She knew that her own father had sent her away. And she knew that humans would see her the same way her own people did. "Welcome to Earth," Teo said. His voice was steady and clear. He bowed slightly, the way humans show respect. "I am Commander Teo. I have the honor of greeting you." The other officers had gone completely silent. They were waiting to see what would happen next. Hera bowed back. When she stood up again, the smallest smile appeared on her face. It was a sad smile, but also brave. "I thank you for your welcome," she said. Her voice was soft and smooth like music. She spoke in perfect human language. "I am Princess Hera. I am happy to meet you." She had no accent. She spoke better than most humans, Teo knew. She was clearly intelligent and educated, but none of that would matter to the people watching. They would only see what they saw. They would only see what the Emperor wanted them to see. Teo made a decision in that moment. He would not be like everyone else. He would not join in the laughter or the shame. Whatever the Emperor's plan was, it would not work here. "Please come with me," Teo said. "We have prepared a place for you to rest after your long journey. You must be tired." He offered his arm, and Hera took it gently. As they walked away from the landing bay, Teo could hear the officers behind them beginning to whisper and laugh. He did not turn around. He only looked forward, with the princess at his side. Over the next hours, Teo showed Hera to her quarters. The room was large and beautiful, with high ceilings and windows that looked out into space. Hera walked around slowly, touching the walls and looking at the view. "It is very beautiful," she said quietly. Teo noticed something in her voice. It was as if kindness was something unusual to her, something she did not receive often. And he realized that perhaps the Emperor's prank was not so much about making humans look bad. Perhaps it was about making his own daughter look bad. Perhaps Hera had been unwanted for a long time. "I hope you will be comfortable here," Teo said. "If you need anything at all, just ask." Hera turned to look at him. In that moment, something passed between them. A small understanding. A small moment of connection. Two people who both found themselves in a situation they did not choose. Both trying to find their way forward with honor and strength. "I will be fine," Hera said. "Thank you, Commander. You have been very kind to me. It is different." After Teo left, Hera sat by the window and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there was her home, her father, the empire that had rejected her, and somewhere inside this strange human station, surrounded by people who had already made up their minds about who she was, she sat alone with her thoughts. She did not know that her life was about to change completely. The next morning, Teo found Hera in the observation room. She stood by the same window where he had stood yesterday, looking out at the endless space. She had not heard him enter. She was completely still, lost in thought. "Good morning," Teo said softly. "I hope you slept well." Hera turned around. She looked different today. She wore a simple white robe that humans had given her. Her long black hair hung down her back. Her dark eyes were curious and alert. "I could not sleep," she said honestly. "Your world is so different from mine. Everything here feels new. I kept thinking about the stars." Teo smiled. He did not expect her to be interested in the stars. In Vexian culture, the focus was on physical strength and beauty, not on wonder or curiosity about the universe. But Hera seemed different from other Vexians he had heard about. "Would you like to see Earth?" he asked. "Not from a window, but really see it? The real world?" And, for the first time, Hera smiled a true smile. It was wide and genuine, and it completely changed her face. She looked beautiful when she smiled like that. "Yes," she said. "I would like that very much." An hour later, they were in a small transport ship, heading toward Earth's surface. Hera pressed her face against the window like a child. She did not say anything, but Teo could see the wonder in her eyes. The blue sky, the white clouds, the green forests below it, was all so different from the cold metal of the space station. They landed in a place called the Mountain Valley. It was far from the big cities. It was quiet and beautiful. Trees surrounded them, and a river ran through the valley. The air was fresh and clean. Teo helped Hera walk down a small path. She was careful about where she stepped, noticing every little thing. A butterfly flew past her face, and she made a surprised sound of joy. "What is that?" she asked. "It is a butterfly," Teo explained. "An insect. They are harmless. They are just beautiful." Hera watched it fly away into the trees. There was sadness in her expression now. "On Vexia, we do not have such things," she said. "We have only cold cities and hard metal. We have only strength and power and perfection. There is no room for beauty that serves no purpose. There is no room for things that are just nice." They sat by the river for hours. Teo brought food with them. They ate bread and fruit and drank water. It was simple and peaceful. Hera told him about her life on Vexia. She told him about growing up as the Emperor's daughter. She told him about the pressure to be perfect, to be strong, to fit into what a Vexian princess should be. "I was never strong enough," she said quietly. "I was never thin enough. I was never right. My father used to say that I was a disappointment to the bloodline. Other Vexian children would laugh at me at school. They called me names." Teo felt his heart hurt listening to her. She had been rejected by her own people her entire life. And then her own father had sent her away like a joke. "I do not think you are a disappointment," Teo said. "I think you are intelligent. I think you are kind. I think you see beauty in the world that other people miss." Hera turned to look at him. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she asked, "Why are you being so kind to me? Your own people think I am a joke. Your officers laughed at me when I arrived. Your scientists have written reports saying that I am unsuitable." Teo thought for a moment about how to answer. He wanted to tell her the truth. "Because I believe that how other people see you is not as important as how you see yourself," he said. "And I do not think you are what others say you are. I think they are all wrong." End 1. I think they are all wrong. Over the next weeks, Teo and Hera spent more and more time together. He showed her the beauty of Earth. They walked through forests and along beaches. They visited cities and watched humans create art and music and dance. Hera was fascinated by everything. She loved human music, especially songs about love and sadness. She would listen for hours, her eyes closed, feeling the emotions in every note. She loved human art. She spent an entire afternoon looking at paintings in a museum, asking Teo questions about what the artists were trying to say. One day, Teo brought her to a place called a library. It was a huge building filled with thousands of books. When Hera walked inside, she made a soft sound of amazement. She walked slowly between the shelves, reading the titles, touching the covers of the books. "There are so many stories," she whispered. "So many ideas. So many different ways of seeing the world. You can read any of them," Teo told her. "That is what a library is for." Hera sat down at a table and pulled out a book of human poetry. She began to read, and Teo watched her face as she read. She was completely lost in the words. Sometimes she smiled. Sometimes she looked sad. Sometimes she seemed to stop breathing, completely caught up in what the poet was saying. That night, after they returned to the space station, Hera came to Teo's office. She held the poetry book in her hands. "I read all of this today," she said. "I want to write poetry too. I want to put my feelings into words the way these poets do." "Then you should," Teo said. "You should write poetry. You should do anything that makes you happy." She began to write. And as the weeks passed, Teo noticed that something was changing. "Hera," was changing. She was becoming more confident. She was speaking more freely. She was laughing more often. And the love in her poetry grew stronger with each new piece she wrote. One afternoon, she showed him a poem. It was about a person who felt lost and alone, but then found someone who saw their true value. The poem was beautiful and sad and hopeful all at once. When Teo finished reading it, he looked up at Hera. "Who did you write this about?" he asked, though he thought he already knew. Hera looked away, her blue skin showing a slight blush. "Does it matter?" she asked softly. Teo reached out and took her hand. "No," he said. "I suppose it does not." In that moment, both of them understood that something very important had happened. The Emperor had sent his daughter as a prank, as a joke, as an insult to humanity. But what he did not understand was that sometimes the most important things in life come when we least expect them. And sometimes, love grows in the places where nobody thought it would ever bloom. The transmission arrived at midnight. Teo was in his office, working on reports, when the urgent alarm sounded on his communication system. It was a signal from the Vexian Empire. High priority. Emergency level. He pressed the button to accept the transmission. The large screen in front of his desk came to life. Emperor Cortex appeared on the screen. The Emperor was tall and thin, with blue skin that seemed to glow. His eyes were cold and angry. His face was twisted with rage. "Commander Teo." The Emperor's voice was sharp like a knife. "I am sending this message with extreme displeasure." Teo stood up straight. He had never spoken directly with the Emperor before. Nobody at his level usually did. But something about the Emperor's tone made Teo feel like he was about to be attacked. "Your Majesty," Teo said respectfully, "how can I serve you?" "You can serve me by returning my daughter immediately," the Emperor commanded. "This situation has become unacceptable." Teo felt confused. "Your Majesty, I do not understand." The Peace Alliance is void," the Emperor interrupted. "I have been receiving reports about my daughter. Reports say that she has become soft. Reports say that she walks around your planet like some kind of tourist. Reports say that she has stopped training. Reports say that she spends all her time with you instead of preparing for her duties." Teo did not know what to say. He had not realized that their actions were being monitored so closely. "The worst report," the Emperor continued, his voice becoming even more angry, "is that she has developed romantic feelings for you. That she has abandoned her pride. That she has abandoned her people. That she has betrayed the Vexian bloodline by choosing to be with an inferior alien." The word inferior hit like a punch. But Teo kept his face calm. "Your Majesty, with respect, I believe. Your beliefs do not matter," the Emperor said coldly. "Here is what will happen. My daughter will return to Vexia immediately. She will return to her training. She will forget about this foolish human and remember who she is. She is a daughter of the Vexian Empire. She is not some romantic character in a human story." Teo's hands began to shake with anger. "And if she does not wish to return, then there will be consequences," the Emperor said. "I will declare her a traitor to the throne. I will announce to the entire galaxy that she has disgraced her family. She will be exiled. She will be alone. And more importantly, I will begin military action against Earth. I have a fleet of 1,000 warships. Your planet is not prepared for war." The screen went black. The transmission ended. Teo sat down slowly in his chair. His mind was racing. The Emperor had just made a threat that could destroy the entire planet. And he had given Teo an impossible choice. Send Hera back to Vexia, where she would be unhappy for the rest of her life. Or keep her on Earth and bring war to his own people. He had to tell Hera. He had to tell her immediately. He found her in her favorite place, the observation room. She was looking out at the stars, and she was writing in a small notebook. Her poetry notebook. "Hey, Ra," Teo said. His voice sounded strange. Strained. She turned around and saw his face. She knew immediately that something was very wrong. "What has happened?" she asked. Fear appeared in her eyes. Teo told her everything. He told her about the Emperor's message. He told her about the threat of war. He told her about what the Emperor had said, about her being a traitor. He told her that she had to choose. Hyra listened without interrupting. Her face grew pale. Her hands trembled. When Teo finished speaking, she turned back to the window and looked out at the stars for a long time. "I knew this would happen," she said finally. Her voice was very quiet. "I knew my father would never allow me to be happy. I knew this was too good to be true. We will find another way," Teo said. "We will not let him. There is no other way." Hera interrupted. She turned to face him, and there were tears running down her blue cheeks. "If I stay, millions of humans will die. I cannot do that. I cannot be the reason that your people are destroyed. And if you go?" Teo asked. "Then I will return to a life of isolation and shame," Hyra said. "But at least your people will be safe. At least you will be safe." She reached out and took Teo's hand. "I have to go back," Hyra said. "You know I have to. I cannot let you lose your world because of me." Teo wanted to argue. He wanted to fight. He wanted to tell her that they could find a way, that there had to be another option. But he knew she was right. The Emperor was serious. The Vexian Empire could destroy Earth. He could not allow that to happen. "When?" Teo asked. The word came out like a whisper. "Tomorrow," Hera said. "I have already sent a message to my father. I told him I would return. He is sending a ship to collect me." That night, Teo and Hyra spent their last hours together walking through the gardens of the space station. They did not talk much. They just walked together, holding hands, trying to remember everything about this moment, trying to hold on to something that was about to be taken away forever. In the morning, they stood in the landing bay watching the Vexian ship approach. The large silver and black vessel descended slowly, its engines creating a sound like thunder. "I will always remember you," Hera said. "I will think of the forests and the rivers and the museums. I will think of human poetry and human kindness. I will think of you, and I will remember what it felt like to be loved." Teo pulled her close and held her tight. He wanted to say something wonderful and meaningful, but his heart was breaking, and he could not find the words. "I love you," he said finally. "That is all I know. I love you, and I do not want to let you go." "Then do not let me go," Hera whispered. "In your heart, do not let me go. Remember me. Remember us." The ship's door opened. Vexian guards emerged, their faces cold and expressionless. They waited for the princess to come with them. Hera pulled away from Teo. She picked up her small bag of belongings. She took one last look at him, and then she walked toward the ship. With every step, it felt like Teo was losing a piece of himself. She climbed the ramp into the ship. The door began to close. Teo watched until the last moment, when her face disappeared from view. Then the ship sealed shut, and within minutes, it was rising up into the sky, carrying Hera away from Earth. Teo stood alone in the landing bay, watching the ship disappear into the darkness of space. He felt like his heart had been torn out of his chest. Around him, officers walked past, not saying anything, but looking at him with pity. In the observation room, he stood at the same window where Hera had stood so many times. He watched the Vexian ship jump through a wormhole and disappear completely. And in that moment, Teo understood that his life would never be the same. 3 weeks had passed since Hera left. 3 weeks felt like 3 years. Teo had tried to work, tried to focus on his duties as commander, but his heart was not in it. He moved through each day like a ghost, going through the motions but feeling nothing. The station was quieter now. Nobody laughed as much. Even the officers who had mocked Hera seemed to feel the sadness that filled the halls. Then the council called him in for an emergency meeting. Teo walked into the large meeting room where Earth's most important leaders were gathered. President Min-ho sat at the head of the long table. Next to him were generals, scientists, politicians, and diplomatic leaders from every major nation on Earth. They all looked worried. "Commander Teo," President Min-ho said, "we have received a message from Vexia. The Emperor is making new demands." Teo felt his stomach drop. "What kind of demands?" "He is saying that the human race is not worthy of peace," General Park said. He was an old soldier with a hard face. "He is saying that by allowing his daughter to develop feelings for a human, we have shown disrespect. He wants Earth to surrender its defensive weapons. He wants us to become a colony of the Vexian Empire. And if we refuse?" Teo asked, though he already knew the answer. "He will attack," another official said quietly. "He has already moved his fleet to positions near our solar system. He is not bluffing." Teo felt rage build up inside him. The Emperor was using his daughter, using their love, as a weapon. The peace they had tried to build was being destroyed. "We should fight," Teo said. His voice was loud and strong. "We should not surrender. We are not weak. We are not inferior." "With respect, sir," General Park said, "the Vexian fleet is 3 times larger than our combined forces. We would lose. But we would not be slaves," Teo said. He was standing now, and he could not control his voice. "We would fight with honor. We would show the Vexian Empire what humans are truly made of. We would show them that we value our freedom, our independence, and our right to choose who we love." President Min-ho leaned back in his chair. He was looking at Teo carefully. "You are speaking about Princess Hera," the president said. It was not a question. "Yes," Teo said. He did not see any reason to hide the truth anymore. "The Emperor sent her here as an insult. He thought we would mock her and throw her away. But we did not. I did not. And when the Emperor learned that his daughter had found happiness, that she had found love, he could not tolerate it. He has destroyed everything beautiful about this situation. But I will not let him destroy Earth." "Commander," the president said slowly, "if we fight this war, millions of people will die. Millions of humans will lose their lives. Is that what you want?" "No," Teo said. "But if we surrender, we will lose everything that makes us human. We will lose our freedom. And yes, Hera will be the reason. But she did not choose this. The Emperor chose this. The Emperor is the one making war." The room was silent. Everyone was looking at Teo. He could see confusion on some faces, anger on others. But on some faces, he could see something else. He could see understanding. Then, one by one, the leaders began to stand up. First, it was a young representative from Africa. Then, an older official from Europe. Then a scientist. Then another leader. Soon, the entire council was standing. "We will not surrender," President Min-ho declared. "If this is about defending the freedom to love, to choose, to be who we are, then Earth will fight. Commander Teo, I am putting you in charge of our defense strategy." Over the next week, Teo worked day and night to prepare. He coordinated with military leaders around the world. They brought their best warships together. They organized their forces. They prepared their defenses. Teo knew they could not win against the Vexian fleet, but they could make it costly for the Emperor. They could show strength and courage. But then something unexpected happened. A message came in from Vexia. But it was not from the Emperor. It was from a Vexian general named Boram. He was one of the highest-ranking military officers in the Vexian Empire. His message was shocking. "Commander Teo," the general said on the screen. He was a tall Vexian with dark blue skin and serious eyes. "I am contacting you because I believe what is happening is wrong. Many of us in the Vexian military do not agree with the Emperor's actions. The Emperor is using his daughter's love as an excuse to wage war. But this is not justice. This is not honor. This is cruelty. Teo was stunned. Was this a trick? General Boram continued. For years, many of us have wanted change in our empire. We have wanted our people to value more than just physical power and rigid standards of beauty. Your people showed us something different. Commander, you showed us something different. When you treated Princess Hera with respect and kindness despite what everyone else said, you showed the Vexian Empire what real strength is. What are you saying? Teo asked the screen, even though he knew Boram could not hear him. I am saying that there is a group of us who are going to challenge the Emperor, Boram said. We are going to take control of the government. We will replace his regime with one that believes in diversity, acceptance, and freedom. But we need time. We need the humans to prepare for war. But we need you to hold back. Give us 3 days, and we will handle this from inside. Teo looked at his advisors. They were all shaking their heads. This could be a trick. This could be a way to lower Earth's defenses so the Vexians could attack easier. But Teo thought about Hera. He thought about her love for poetry, her wonder at the beauty of Earth, her desire to be accepted and valued for who she truly was. He thought about how she had been willing to sacrifice her own happiness for his people's safety. He thought about how the Emperor was using his own daughter as a weapon. We will wait, Teo said. 3 days, General. If you betray us, we will be ready to fight. For 3 days, Earth held its breath. Teo and his forces stood ready. Weapons prepared. Defenders positioned. But they did not attack. They waited. And then, on the morning of the 4th day, a new transmission came from Vexia. The Emperor Cortex was no longer in power. General Boram and a coalition of Vexian senators had overthrown him in a bloodless coup. And more importantly, there was peace. In the new government, Boram announced that Vexia would welcome new ideas and new ways of thinking. He announced that the narrow standards of beauty and strength that had dominated their culture for thousands of years would be challenged and changed. He announced that different was not bad. Different was valuable. And he announced something that made Teo's heart skip a beat. We are also announcing, Boram said on the broadcast that was sent to all human channels, that Princess Hera will serve as an ambassador between our two civilizations. She will be a symbol of the new unity between our peoples. And Commander Teo of Earth has been invited to Vexia to meet with her in person to discuss this new alliance. Teo's heart was racing as his transport ship began its descent toward Vexia. The planet was not at all what he expected. He had imagined a cold, harsh world of metal and stone. But below him, he could see green forests and blue oceans. There were cities, yes, but they were built into the landscape rather than dominating it. The new government had already begun making changes. General Boram met him at the landing platform. The general was exactly as he appeared on screen. Tall and serious, but with warm eyes that showed intelligence and kindness. Welcome to Vexia, Commander, Boram said, greeting him with a formal bow. I trust your journey was comfortable? It was, Teo said. General, I need to say thank you. If you had not acted, many people would have died. I acted because it was right, Boram said simply. The old way was not working. Our empire was becoming cruel and narrow. We needed change. You and your world have shown us that there is another way to live. They walked together through the Vexian capital city. Teo could see that things were different here now. Vexians of different sizes and shapes walked the streets. There were celebrations happening. There was music and laughter. The rigid, cold society he had expected to see was already transforming. The princess is waiting for you, Boram said as they approached a large building. She has been waiting for 3 weeks. Ever since she learned that the coup was happening, she did not know if she would see you again. Teo felt butterflies in his stomach. After weeks of thinking he would never see Hera again, the moment was finally here. Boram left him at the entrance to a garden. Teo walked inside slowly, his heart pounding. The garden was beautiful, full of colorful flowers and trees with silver leaves. A small water fountain sang in the center, and then he saw her. Hera was standing by the fountain, her back to him. She wore a simple white dress. Her long black hair flowed down her back. She must have heard his footsteps, because she turned around. When their eyes met, time seemed to stop. Hera's face showed shock, then joy, then tears. Lots of tears. "Teo," she said. It was barely a whisper. He walked toward her, and she walked toward him. When they met in the middle of the garden, they held each other like they would never let go. Teo could feel her heart beating against his chest. He could smell the sweet scent of the flowers in her hair. He could not believe she was real, that she was here, that they were together again. "I thought I would never see you again," Hera said, her voice breaking. "My father told me that Earth was going to attack us. He said that you had sent ships to destroy us. I thought you had forgotten me." "Never," Teo said. "I could never forget you." "I love you, Hera. I love you more than anything in this universe." "And I love you," Hera said. "I have loved you since the day you showed me kindness when everyone else was mocking me. I have loved you every moment since, and I will love you for the rest of my life." They held each other in silence for a long time. The flowers around them seemed to glow in the light. The water in the fountain sparkled. The moment felt like something out of one of Hera's poems. "What happens now?" Hera asked. "The new government has asked me to be an ambassador. But I do not know what I want to do. All I know is that I want to be with you." Teo took her hand and led her to sit by the fountain. They sat together, still holding hands, not wanting to break contact. "The Council of Earth has offered me a choice," Teo said. "I can stay as the commander of the space station, or I can take a different position. They want me to work on building peace between our two civilizations. They want me to work with the new government of Vexia." "What did you choose?" Hera asked. "I did not choose anything until I could talk to you," Teo said. "Because wherever I go, I want you to be there. I want us to build this new peace together. I want us to show both humans and Vexians that differences do not have to divide us. They can unite us." Hera smiled, and it was the most beautiful thing Teo had ever seen. "I want that too," she said. "I want to use my position as ambassador to teach people about acceptance. I want to show Vexians that being different is not wrong. I want to show humans and Vexians that love can exist between any two people, no matter where they come from or what they look like." Over the next week, Teo and Hera spent every moment together. They explored the capital city. They went to Vexian temples and museums. They attended celebrations where the new government was being celebrated. They met with leaders from both civilizations who were excited about this new alliance. One evening, they stood together on a high tower, looking out over the Vexian city and the forests beyond. The twin moons of Vexia were rising in the sky, casting blue light across the landscape. "Do you remember when I took you to Earth?" Teo asked. "To the gardens and the forests?" "I remember everything," Hera said. "Every moment with you is burned into my heart. I want to take you back to Earth." Teo said, "I want to show you more. I want to show you the mountains and the deserts and the oceans. I want to show you all the beautiful things that my planet has to offer. And I want to show you more of my world," Hera said. "The places where my people have created beauty. I want to share everything with you." Teo took her hand and looked into her eyes. "Hera," he said, his voice serious and tender. "I know we have not known each other for very long, in the way that time is measured, but I have never been more sure of anything in my life. I love you. I want to spend my life with you. I want to build a future with you. Together." Hera held her breath. She understood what he was asking. "Will you marry me?" Teo asked. "Will you join your life to mine? Will you be my partner in creating a bridge between our two worlds?" For a moment, Hera did not answer. She just looked at him with love and wonder in her eyes. Then she smiled, and her smile contained all the joy in the universe. "Yes," she said. "Yes, I will marry you. Yes to all of it. Yes to everything." Teo kissed her as the twin moons rose higher in the sky. And in that moment, standing on a tower on an alien world, a human and a Vexian made a promise to each other. A promise to build something new. A promise to fight for love. A promise to show their entire galaxy that anything is possible when two people dare to believe in each other